Joining us now here in the studio on the Vine, we have Larry Florin, who's representing Burbank Housing. We have Erica Sklar with Napa Valley Community Housing, and we're going to talk to both of you more in just a moment. But we're going to start off this conversation with Dave Whitmer, who's representing the First United Methodist Church. Dave, welcome in. Oops, let me turn your mic on. That helps.
Yeah, hi, Barry. Thanks.
Thank you for coming in. So this is a project that I think a lot of people in the community are following closely. It's different, it's innovative, and it was kind of surprising when it all came out. What's your elevator speech for somebody who does not know what we're talking about to describe what's going on?
Yeah, so the Methodist Church downtown has really tried to take a look at the community that we, where we find ourselves, and say, what are the biggest issues that we can help try and figure out and solve? And for 25 or so years, we donated one of our buildings to the city county to use as the Hope Center. Many people will recognize that name and know where those services were held. And that was a good model until the overnight shelter moved here a few years ago. We were given that building back, and then, so what do we do with it now that we have it back? And so I was tasked to try and evaluate what's the next thing we do with our buildings on campus. We began to go through that process starting about 6 years ago or so, and led a small group within the congregation to kind of dream out loud and think about what kind of big things we might do. Housing came up at one of our first meetings, and we thought, is this something that makes sense? And we didn't know. And so we kept on working on that concept, but we gained insight by inviting some folks who have experience with housing in the community. And a couple of them are here, and you're going to talk to them in a minute. And everybody said, man, what a great idea, what a great location. Not only is this a good idea, but we'd like to be a part of it if you get that far. And so Barry, my background here in the community. It's planning currently, and it was agriculture for 33 years. And I don't know anything about housing, right? So, what makes me think that I should write a request for qualifications, but that's what I did. And we got some great responses from that. And we have a partnership with Napa Valley Community Housing and Burbank Housing, two of the leaders in not only this community, but in the region, in knowing how to do this and do it well. And so we're excited. The congregation is excited, and we're doing something to change the downtown. And the whole purpose behind this is to give people who live in Napa but can't afford to live in Napa, work in Napa but can't afford to live in Napa, a home.
The other is also true. Many of us live in Napa but can't afford to live in Napa. Yeah. First thing you have to wonder if you're new to this topic is, wow, this church is going to get rich off this deal.
No, yeah, my intent and anybody who knows me, you can tell I'm not one of those who's trying to get rich. This is about the community. This is about doing the right thing. This is about us giving people a sense of why the Methodists are here, right? Why are the Methodists downtown? We've been there for 160 years, right? We're not going anywhere. And to be honest with you, we're seeing membership rise because people are saying, hey, we see what you're doing, and we want to be a part of that. I've had people walk up to me and say, I want to be a part of this. I want you to tell me how I can get involved. That's powerful. And we're contemplating a long-term lease for this, but the resources that we receive from that long-term lease will be turned back into building some new spaces in the bottom floor of one of these buildings, so that we'll end up recreating a large hall for the church, a commercial kitchen we're anticipating. And probably the other thing I'm really excited about is we've got space for a 40-child daycare on site and the priority would go to the folks who are going to live here in this housing. We've heard from the community, workforce housing and daycare are two of the largest issues that people feel need somebody to address. And so we're trying to figure that out.
It's a fascinating project. Let's swing it over to Erica, and let's talk about your role with Napa Valley Community Housing, which, in what I know, has been the organization that's put together a number of affordable housing projects in the community. How many other units or complexes do you have? Have you been?
Oh, yeah, thank you. So we have over 20 units in Napa Valley. This is an organization that's been around for many years and really has roots in the community. Our board members are from the community. We care a lot about the needs here. We were started by just members of our community who came together originally and saw 30 years ago the trajectory that the valley was going in and how expensive housing was becoming and how difficult it was for workers to live here. And so this has been a passion of ours for a very, very long time. And the one thing that we really want to bring to this partnership is this idea that we are building the fabric of the community and that this is a way for us all to be caring for each other and that everyone deserves a home. So often the public dialogue, not from people involved necessarily, but looking from the outside, is when they hear affordable housing, the first reaction is affordable for who? And then the next question is, well, they said they were going to build affordable. Look at it, it's all market rate now, and it's the same problem we've had all along. How do you keep that from happening? Sorry, how do I keep
everything from becoming market rate? How do you actually keep it affordable? Is it income level restrictions and things like that?
Got it, yes. Well, we extensively use government grants and loans to put our projects together or our developments together. So we have a lot of restrictions also from the county and the city, a lot of restrictions. Every dollar we get comes with a restriction, and it requires us to maintain the affordability of these properties for at least 55 years. But then our mission is that they stay affordable, and we're a nonprofit, so we definitely are not profit motivated. So even those 55 years will come, and then we will invest more money into them and keep them for another 55 years. So it just keeps going.
Mm-hmm. So if I remember right, what I read, we're talking about apartments, 1, 2, and 3 bedroom, correct? Give us an idea of what these would rent for and how that connects to the income level, if you can. Want to transfer to Larry? We can swing it to Larry if he's got that data.
Larry's got a great handle
Larry's
on
got
that.
the data. Larry Florin, let's have you talk about the numbers.
Thank you, Barry. So I'm going to change the semantics here a little bit, because rather than affordable housing, we'd like to call this workforce housing. Okay. Because really what the housing speaks to are the people, the infrastructure of the community, the people here who can't afford can't afford to live here, as Dave spoke about. And so our rents would range anywhere on the low end from about $700 a month for up to a 3-bedroom. At the highest end would be about $2,000 a month. Most of the homes will be in the $900 to $1,300 a month rent range, and those speak to people that are making $40,000 to $50,000 a year. So the folks that you see in the dry cleaners, your paramedics, EMTs, these are the folks that will be living in this housing. So it literally are the people that are working in this community is who we're gearing this project for.
And for comparison, a market rate 3-bedroom apartment in Napa,
$3,000 and up. Yeah.
And they don't care how much you're earning.
That's correct.
Do whatever you have to do to pay.
Yeah,
that
you
rent.
do have to income qualify for these projects, so you do have to be earning below a certain amount of income.
Mm-hmm. This odd question just came to my mind. What if you have a situation where somebody, an extra person starts working, the family income rises? Do people have to re-qualify all the time? How does that
so
work?
we do have a qualification process that happens annually, but there is what we call a safe harbor. So if folks come in at a certain income level, they can stay up to a certain income. At a certain point, individuals will be able to afford market rate housing, and so they should move on and be able to rent and open that space for somebody else. But there is actually a gap that they can continue to earn income and still live there.
Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about Burbank Housing itself and the background of that.
Sure, Barry. So Burbank is a North Bay nonprofit. We're based in that other County, Sonoma County. We personally, I've been very involved in housing issues in Napa for some time. We're actually partnering with Napa Valley Community Housing, which is a very well-respected local nonprofit, as Erica was discussing, and we just took over managing many of their properties. And so we are active. We have over 4,000 units of housing, all in the North Bay, in Sonoma and Napa County, and we've been around for 44 years now.
Just about out of time. Let's come back to Dave for a final thought here. What would you like to have our audience hear that we haven't touched on yet?
Well, there's information available for folks who would like to learn more. We recently acquired a domain name, NFUMC and it's a simple way for folks to get more information. It'll take you to a website where you can find out more. You know, you and Larry were talking about who lives in these places. I've done a little bit of research on my own. I serve on the Napa Valley Farm Worker Foundation and also with Napa Valley Grape Growers. And you know, this will also serve as farm worker housing. This will also serve the folks who are working in restaurants downtown. This will also serve the folks that are working in hotels downtown. And it being downtown located, folks could, you know, in the future, we're looking at perhaps a bit of a different society than we have now in terms of how we move around and get around. And this could be a situation where folks could live downtown, work downtown, and not really need to have a car. We're planning tremendous bicycle facilities into it. The sustainability is important to us and to our partners, and making sure that the building is sustainable in as many ways as we can make it. And this is about helping people in our community solve some of the community's biggest problems. And I'm excited about it, as you can probably tell. Our congregation is excited about it, and we're really doing something that I think is much needed, and we're proud of it.
Yeah, come back to Larry real quick.
I think Dave said Napa affordablehousing.org. It's actually Napa workforcehousing.org.
There we go. We got that corrected. Thank you. And just one last factual thing. 46 units, is that the
46 with one being a manager unit. So on-site management is also important in these. I
don't know about other folks, but I'm sure rooting for this because it makes so much sense, and it's the doing the right thing, right?
Yeah.
There are, you know, I'm not going to cast any aspersions on anybody, but in a place like Napa, if you have a piece of property like that in such a desirable location, you know, some people might say, well, hotel, you know, tasting rooms, retail, all that, you know, that's if money motivates you. Larry has one more thing.
One final shout out, Barry, you brought up. This is actually a trailblazing project. It's being done under a new state law that actually encourages the development of affordable housing on religious properties owned by religious communities. It's one of the first ones happening in the state under this state law, and other religious institutions, we'd love to have conversations with them about how they might be able to incorporate this into their property.
Fantastic. Larry Florin, Erica Sklar, and Dave Whitmer, thank you for being here on this. Great topic. Thanks for taking time.